For my research paper, I did fracking. Fracking is the process of drilling into the Earth's surface and fracturing the rocks below the surface to get an extraction of natural gas. So it's basically like making little earthquakes under the Earth's surface for natural gas. It's a very debatable topic, and I chose to be against it. So for my reading goal, I chose to work on integrating and evaluating multiple sources of information presented in different media or formats in order to address a question or solve a problem. So before doing this whole research paper, I basically just Googled any questions I had, pretty much like everyone else, and I was always fine with my answers. I always thought I found pretty good answers, but now after this, after using the global issues in context, the Gale ones, they really showed how much information you really need to find before, like, just Googling it is not the same. And also using different sources. Gale did a lot of that. It showed you, like, news things, journal entries, articles. I also, for my paper, I watched a lot of clips of things. I like to watch news clips of, like, people literally turning their water on and setting it on fire, like a mini explosion in their kitchen. I also watched a documentary called Gasland by Josh Fox, and that helped a lot. It also helped not only with my writing, but with my own opinion, like my own knowledge on the subject, because before this paper, I thought I was just going to research on it, but it also affects your stance on things if you get really good research. So I think it did affect my paper because it helped me gain my own knowledge and my own opinion to the subject. So for my next goal, the language goal, I chose to demonstrate the command of the conventions of standard English capitalization, punctuation, and spelling when writing. So before this research paper, I thought, I'm pretty good with my writing, capitalization, punctuation, and spelling, but I chose it because it's something you can always work on. So, I always checked everything, double and triple checked, especially because this was the goal I picked. And also I noticed something I needed to work on a lot was my citations in the paper. So working on that helped my writing as well. So for my last goal, the writing standard, I chose to integrate information into my paper to maintain the flow of ideas, avoiding plagiarism and over-reliance on any one source, and following a standard format for citation. So like I said, for the last one, I worked really hard on my citations, especially works cited, because I was really worried that if you do one thing wrong, it will say you have a lot of plagiarism. So I worked hard on my works cited page. Before, I always work hard on it, but before I was kind of like, I don't even know how to do a works cited page. I couldn't even tell you how to do it, so I had to Google every time. But now, I would actually study how to do them, and now I can do them pretty well. And I think I did it pretty well on my research paper. And also, obviously, I avoided plagiarism, because at the beginning of the try, we talked about that is the biggest thing you want to avoid. It's really important, and I picked this one especially for the flow of ideas, because that's something I needed to work on. I didn't want to sound choppy or have choppy sentences. I didn't want to sound like I was going all over the place. And I also worked on switching to new paragraphs. I used transitions. For example, I believe I started my middle paragraphs with "in addition" or "also" or "next," and I started my conclusion with "in conclusion." So throughout this process, I think this whole research paper definitely helped me, and I definitely found a new place of to find my information, because that global issues and context, it showed me a place to look for a place that'll give me a bunch of information. So it's like a fancy Google, is how I think of it. This process helped my writing skills a lot to help me practice, and especially with my citations. And so overall, this process definitely helped me.